everyone, it's Jean from Gallagher, Domanski. Today's video is on RFEs, requests for further evidence. When you get one after you've filed an EB2 NIW petition, that you might feel like the statements are statements that the officer only has said to you, but they're actually common statements that appear in a lot of RFEs. So this highlights 3 in this video and 3 possible things that you might say in response.
Sometimes people get RFEs where the officer says that their master's degree is not in their field of endeavor, meaning their proposed endeavor. So this is something that you can cite that USCIS did make a non-precedent decision that I have here for you and highlight it. It tells you that the definition of an advanced degree does not require that a foreign national must hold a degree in a particular field in order to qualify as a member of the profession holding an advanced degree. So if you happen to get an RFE where the officer says that, here's one way that you can respond. And here I'm only discussing master's degree as a advanced degree. So I know that some of you may have a bachelor's degree and 5 years experience beyond your bachelor's, but this is only discussing the master's degree. So sometimes you might also get an RFE where the officer says that the letters that you have provided as evidence are not persuasive because you asked for them. You asked people to write them. So here is an example from a EB1A case, an extraordinary ability case, but I think it's relevant because it has to do with letters. And if you haven't seen my other video on expert letters and establishing your recommenders as experts, you should check that out on my channel as well. But in this case here, this person was a professional hockey player, and he got these affidavits from fellow NHL players of considerable renown, the case says. So so these famous NHL players wrote these letters, and they were not considered. So in this opinion, it says better evidence of an alien's extraordinary ability would be difficult to find, yet the INS did not even mention it in its decision. So this I think is something that you could possibly use if you have an RFE where it's saying that your letters are not persuasive evidence, and you can show that the people who wrote the letters are of considerable renown, right? So and watch my other video on that as well. And finally, this is probably one of the most common things that people say after they get an RFE, that it seems like the officer did not even look at most of their evidence because they're asking for it in their RFE letter. So when you respond, you might call their attention to the other evidence that you already provided. You don't need to send it again. In fact, the RFE letter says do not send the same evidence that you already sent, but you may want to point out to them that you already sent it. So here, this is also not a EB2 NIW case, although the person appealing did have an EB2 NIW approval, but then they filed a Form N-470, so which isn't really relevant right now, but but the reason that I'm using this to show you is that it talks about the preponderance of the evidence standard that that USCIS is required to apply when they're reviewing your EB2 NIW case and the evidence. And you can see I have highlighted that they must examine each piece of evidence for relevance, probative value, and credibility, both individually and within the context of the totality of the evidence. So they must examine each piece of evidence. So you can remind the officer that they must do that, and these are the things that you already supplied that they seem to have overlooked. So that is my third one, and hopefully you don't get an RFE, but if you do, hopefully this will help.